everybody. Welcome back to the Damn Yankees Podcast, produced by Seven Ashes Productions. It is Monday, June 19th, and Yankees suck again. I'm Megan. That's my brother Ryan, and over there is our baseball dummy Cliff.
Hi. You know she means it when she is drinking something other than coffee.
Yeah. Yankees have driven me to drink.
Yeah, it's been a rough week.
Yeah, rough couple weeks, really. But yeah, especially the last week. They've lost the series up to, well, they split a series. Felt like a loss, I guess, because they split a series against the Mets since the last time we talked. They only played a 2-game set. So they won the first one, lost the second one, and then they proceeded to get swept by the Red Sox, who are our last place team in the American League East. And we made them look pretty damn good, I guess.
Well, we got them back over 500.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yep. Before we started, they were a game under 500, so we helped that out for them.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yep, you're welcome. Yeah, on Friday, Herman looked like absolute ass. We lost 15-5. I forget how many runs he gave up, something like 6 or 8, or it doesn't matter.
So this is not a good time for my really funny Boston accent, right?
Oh, absolutely not. I'm not sure why you thought it would be funny anywhere in the realm of. So there's that. Then on Saturday, there's a rain out, and was actually good for the Yankees because everybody ahead of them in the playoff race lost. So it's the only way they can gain some ground these days. And then on Sunday, they played a doubleheader and lost both of them.
In reality, we are still in the wild card.
We are.
Hunt.
We have that last slot in the wild card race,
but
right
we're
now.
Holding on by less than a half-game thread because we're actually tied in the last spot with Houston. I don't know how they're doing today. I don't know if they play today.
They do. They play the Mets today.
They play the Mets today.
They're probably just starting.
They start in an hour.
Okay.
But yeah, we're hanging on. The Blue Jays are only half game behind us, even with that too. So, the only reason we're still in this position is because Houston is doing just as crappy as we are. They're on a 4-game losing streak too. Toronto's lost 2 straight games. So we're kind of being held in because the teams around us that should be getting up ahead are also doing bad. So,
yeah, I guess that's the only silver lining because otherwise, if you watch this team, it's just embarrassing, pathetic.
They're not a playoff team the way they're playing right now.
No, I mean, they're
by far.
Yeah. I mean, I know we talked last week that they're aging and they're regressing or whatever, but like on some level, I don't think that's much of an excuse for them. Rizzo was hitting well until he got butt checked in the head by Tatis. DJ hasn't really been hitting well all year. He is like if you look at his what is it? Hit speed,
his stat line,
bat swing, bat speed. All of those have gone down every month this season.
Yeah.
So then Stanton off the IL. He's known for he needs 2 or 3 weeks off the IL before he starts mashing. But how many times do we have to wait for him to come off the IL before he can start mashing again? And he looks really bad up there right now. Josh Donaldson can only hit when it doesn't matter. And then when it does matter and he actually gets on base, then he gets his ass picked off. He should have been sat after that, actually, I think. Glaber has been, he's hit well. He might be the only one that looks like he knows what he's doing up at the plate lately. But then he's got that Cano vibe. I just heard Michael Kay say it on his show. And it was like, yes, it's exactly what it is. The everything comes easy, so it all looks so effortless. So when he does screw up, it looks lackadaisical and just doesn't care. And a little bit, yes, I totally agree. But on the other hand, I think that's just the way he plays. And so when he does have errors, it looks so much worse than it could, I guess. I don't know. I hesitate to make too many excuses for him because some of those really boneheaded mental errors in the field. But he's kind of the only one I like think is like, okay, you're doing okay. Like, keep doing you, I guess. But that's how bad things are right now. I can't even. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's not good. I think Stanton had 5 strikeouts yesterday
Oh
alone.
yeah, yesterday was
Couldn't
bad.
really, touch the ball. Rizzo, he's still not hitting very well since
Yeah.
that injury. I think he's only had 2 or 3 hits.
Yeah, he
Um,
did have one that was just like, damn it. Even when the ball is hit well, it was out in that
it's
like
not
no
finding
man's
a
land
spot.
triangle. They made a really good play out in that
Yeah,
stupid triangle, and would have been out in like 13 ballparks or something. So it's like, Jesus, he hit that. So it's like, okay, I hope that's a good sign. I hope that's a sign that, but I don't. That's probably might be more lucky right now than anything else.
right. And on top of that, we can talk about the error by Torres. I mean, Rizzo doesn't get an error, but it's most definitely a mental
A
error on the
mental error.
field where he decides to. There's a hit out into left field. Ball is thrown in really well. There's a runner for the Red Sox coming in to home, and there's definitely enough time for that ball to have made it there. But for whatever reason, Rizzo decides to cut it off,
Yeah.
even though that there wasn't it wasn't like there was an obvious runner going to third that he could easily get out.
Get another
But
play. No,
you
no,
know,
it was very much on time to be a close play at home. And it probably would have been close, but it would have been like there was a chance he was out.
yeah,
And
it may not have
and
been, but at the same time,
and this
Rizzo is one of
wasn't
the. Sorry,
this
go
isn't
ahead.
when they're up 15 or down 15-5. This is a go-ahead run in
Yeah,
Sunday's game, I think, right? The first game?
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
it
It
was like
was
a
a close
go-ahead
one.
run. So it was like, why did he cut that off? I don't know. Yeah, he's been making some really odd decisions lately. He's cut off Glaber at second. Like there was that when Crook was in? It was like his first in major
First
league
game.
debut. Yeah, major league debut. This guy's in, and Rizzo goes over and like basically cuts off Glaber at second to make this play. And it's like, you're way off the bag, my guy. Like, and Crook
Yeah,
couldn't get over there in time, probably because he thought by the angle that's definitely the second baseman's ball, because
and
it
that Rizzo would be
was.
going to first. Yeah,
Yeah. Or Rizzo's going to first, and yeah, exactly. And then he goes, oh my god, and then he tells Rizzo, my bad, and I'm like, you're bad. Like, I mean, it's
like
fine, I guess.
not
So you want to do that for team morality or whatever, but not, you're bad. Like, that was a
no.
huge mental error. So aside from bad, can't hit the ball worth a damn, they're making weird mental errors in the field too. So can't catch.
Yeah.
Bowers is the only one hitting and can't catch the ball in the outfield. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah. I mean, Bowers. Yeah, You can definitely tell that you're missing Judge out and right. I mean, I know he wasn't playing right in this last game. Um,
But
the
yeah,
last game that they played. I think
his
Cabrera was
defense
out
is
there, which
missed.
Cabrera sent back down to the minors.
That's
His
right.
batting
Yep.
average is under 200, which is kind of it's been that way.
Yeah.
For Bader's return, which excited to get Bader back. Last time he came back, he did help this team
It was definitely a
during
spark,
Judge's
and
absence. So hopefully
yeah.
he can do something there. But yeah, Cabrera sent down. But yeah, I mean, without Judge in right field, without Bader in center field, this outfield is just awful.
Oh, it is so
Um,
awful. Yeah.
and then you got Volpe who can't. It's not hitting. Like
No.
I don't know how you regress each month as a rookie. I mean, I get it.
Mm.
Like, there's learning curves, and we keep saying, let's be patient. Let's be, let's see. And I think part of the reason why we want to be patient with Volpe is because he is young. We don't want to, put too much pressure on him that he has to carry this team. I mean, he is not. He's the least of my concerns as far
And
as
not the
this
reason we're
offense.
losing, but it's still
Um,
not good.
yeah, it's not good, especially when you have Peraza doing what he's doing down there in AAA. Um, that kid should be up playing in the majors right now. And it's not just Volpe who is preventing him. I mean, we have Donaldson who can't hit anything outside of when the game is out of reach. And then I think you had said it, he gets picked off when he shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot of logjam issues, and we just need to. There's a lot of things that we need to do, and I think the thing that's frustrating as a Yankee fan is we know that this front office is just going to do its typical gaslighting and kind of putting I don't know, trying to put
a good face on it.
Put a good face on it. Yeah,
that's
like
what
try to do
at.
a spin on everything. I'm sure we're going to hear soon that we're crazy if we don't think that Donaldson's going to turn this around from this season.
I know. That bothers me so much. The only thing the front office is good at is spinning PR and making everyone else feel like they're assholes for asking why this is awful and why is it like this, and why, when we knew we needed more offense in the offseason, did we not get any? Like, especially
when you have quotes from Hal saying we're not done yet.
Right. We haven't after done Rodon, and we haven't. We got
outside of picking up Willie Calhoun and Frankie Cordero and Cole Calhoun, who then left, and
McKinney, and like all these little scraps. Which McKinney's been good right now, but like, why are we? Kind of the same thing with Volpe. We shouldn't be depending on Volpe. Why are McKinney shouldn't be the highlight of our offense? I mean, there's $90+ million that's underperforming wasted at best. Yeah.
I mean, I think that there's a real conversation when it comes to, what are we doing with Stanton? There's a lot of money left on his contract. We've talked about all the other contracts that we have a lot of money on. DJ's got another 30, 45 million. I think he's got another 30 years, 15 million each year. Yeah. What are we like? He does not, and I love DJ LeMahieu. I know there's a lot of fans in New York who love DJ LeMahieu, and then there's a lot of people right now who are just fed up with him. He got that big contract, and nothing's been the same. So I'm not really sure what we're going to do with him for the next 3 years, because again, I mean, when there are definitely players who can play into their 40s, like, I think DJ is actually, I think, our oldest starter, like other than Josh Donaldson. So going into next year, he's going to be our oldest player because he's a year older than Stanton.
Okay. Yeah.
And, it's not to say that players can't play at 36, 37 years old, but if you start regressing at 34, you're not going to be who you were at 31 by the time
that's why this stuff with Donaldson is so infuriating, because you're told that 37-year-old third baseman is going to rebound.
I think, isn't he?
I thought he was 37. I mean, either way, 37, 38. Still. Maybe he had a birthday. I think he started the season at least as 37. But regardless,
either way, he's in his late 30s.
And you think he's going
to turn around.
Yeah, I mean, it's like he's had. Before this series, I admittedly didn't see how many hits he had this series, but he had like 7 hits before this series, and 6 of them were home runs, like solo shots. So it was like, okay, that sounds cool that you've hit home runs, but not when it's mattered, as you've said. And you need to do more than that too. Like, you can't win a game when you're down by 10 runs with a solo shot. So I don't know, like, you can't do it all. Everyone can't do it all, but somebody's got to do something. It's unbelievable to me that how many of our players have all just decided or forgotten how to play baseball. I mean, I don't want to be facetious.
8th hit this week.
8th hit. Okay. So I wasn't, I was afraid I wasn't giving him credit.
He got 1 hit.
I was afraid I wasn't giving him credit for more than 1 hit in the Boston series, but that's all I could remember. But yeah, so he gets that 1 hit and then is picked off, right? Like, it's just like, but yeah, you're crazy if you don't think he'll rebound and be a great player. And I think everybody gave him a fair shake that, okay, once he comes back, let's see how he does. But it's been 3 weeks now, and I'm much, much more willing. I know you said you wanted to talk about Stanton, and I railroaded that, but I'm much more willing to give Stanton more time.
Myself.
I'm much more willing to give Stanton more time to kind of shake off the IL rust and figure it out than I am for Donaldson. This is a season and a half long struggle with him that, Donaldson at least has a track record to go on a tear. And I'm really hoping that's still in there somewhere. He was doing decently well before he went on the IL stint. So I'm really hoping that's somewhere in there. I've just got to hope right now that it's in there.
But my concern when it comes to Stanton is just we know that he goes into those IL slumps, but we're giving Donaldson a lot of crap for hitting 151 this season, only 6 home runs. Well, in the last 15 games, Stanton's also hitting 151, has 3 home runs, 8 hits. And not to say that
his bat going silent is huge. It has to be the biggest weight of why we're not playing well.
And if we're just talking about the last week, he has 2 hits and 1 was a home run, batting .087 in those last 2 weeks. So, I'm willing to give Stanton more of a leeway than Donaldson. We were already not really willing to give Donaldson much leeway before the season even started. But now it's like,
I'm certainly with you being concerned about Stanton. I'm with
especially you. Considering that he's got, I think, 4 more years of contract on it, right. And the dollar amount goes up because
it's back ended. Okay,
the Marlins. Part of the reason why the Marlins were willing to part with him, and I know a lot of people gave. This was back when Derek Jeter was the GM of the Marlins. I know a lot of people gave Jeter crap for making that trade. Acted as if Jeter was just kind of gifting the Yankees with Stanton.
Yeah, but joked about it.
It makes Jeter look like a genius now. Stanton has definitely done really good things for New York. In his years here, it's definitely nowhere near what he had.
And he's performed in the postseason. Yeah,
he's performed in the postseason. He's typically performed really well against the Red Sox, really well against our rivals, the Mets. We know that he leads the Mets, the Citi Field in home runs by an away player. Not to say at all that he's been an absolute waste of a contract, but the reason that he was moved from why Jeter dumped him off to the Yankees was because the GM before him backloaded his contract so badly that Jeter knew that the Marlins would not be able to afford it, and would not be able to move forward to build a team around him, especially at his age. So
I just pulled up the details for it. So he's contracted through 2027 with a club option in 2028. And so this year he's getting paid $22 million. Next year is $32 million, and so is 25. 2026 is 20.
40?
No, it goes down, I guess. So 2026 is $29 million. 2027 is $25 million, and 2028 is $10 million with a club option.
Okay. So
next year
next year it jumps up by $10 million. I knew that it jumped up quite a bit next season, which is a concern. I don't really know what, I'm not on the let's trade Stanton boat right now, but I'm also not there because I don't even know what you would get for him. Is it even worth trading him for some?
I don't know. You would probably convince a team that he's still got it in there. I don't know. Yeah. You'd have to probably pay a bit of his contract though. You'd have to say,
it would be really dumb if they were to take Stanton on his full contract at this time. If Cashman were able to get real pieces for Stanton and not have to pay any of his contract, then he should never be fired because that's the greatest move.
Yeah. It definitely
it
pains me to think about it, but it might be in their best interest to see if, trading Stanton is an option for the future. For this year, he needs to figure it out. You got to hope he doesn't go back on the IL, and you got to hope that he gets his timing down in the next few weeks. And sooner than that, you'd hope. But, like, you just have to hope that that's still in there because he was decent before he got on the IL. You just never know with him. And which right now, when nobody else is performing, that's when it just is highlighted so much more. Rizzo starts hitting along with DJ and Torres, and then maybe we're 500 and it's okay. Like we're allowing Stanton to, rehab in the majors and figure it out. But
right now
nobody's doing shit, and he needs to
and we don't know
step it up.
When Judge is going to return. He got his second cortisone shot. Or not cortisone, what is it?
No, it's like platelets, so it's like concentrated platelets so that it accelerates the healing process. So they found a second
one of those.
Yes, in a second ligament, which could be good or bad. So it's good that they didn't have to put the shot in the first ligament again. That would suggest that it's working, that he's healing in that first ligament, and so that's good. But what happened was swelling went down,
and they were able to,
and then they were able to actually see, there's a second ligament there, which is probably why they were not giving a timeline. I know this is really frustrating, but I also think this is part of the dumpster fire that we're witnessing on the field. I wonder if all of them also don't know anything, and they're like, did we just lose Judge for the year? And now they're all moping all over the place. What else could this be? Like I know that they're old, but like for all of them to play like this much ass.
Bad. And, I think Rizzo said it correctly, but didn't really get to the correct point because they asked him, what's going on without Judge. And he said, there's 30 teams right now who are playing without Judge. And,
it did come out kind of garbled, but
he ended it with like, you can't put all of that on Judge. But I think the reality of it is that he needs to go a step further and say, I need to be better. Us veterans need to be better. We are playing like crap. It's no excuse for any other team not to have Judge on their team, and we don't have that excuse either. He kind of said it, but he didn't really go the full distance, which is why you can see where Rizzo isn't really,
the next leader,
looked at as like the captain.
Which it might be, you can't. Well, who said that? Mattingly, you can't lead or you can't captain from the IL, from the injured list, because like, how are you supposed to lead your troops into battle when you're not going into battle? So like Judge is on the top step, cheering everybody on, and probably offering as much words of wisdom as he can from the injured list. But somebody in that clubhouse needs to take a leadership role, if it's not just like Rizzo and Stanton, because Stanton does accountability really well and Rizzo does motivation really well. I don't know, or has a good camaraderie with all the teammates. Like, I don't know, but something in that clubhouse, somebody needs to be embarrassed enough to say, hey,
we suck,
straighten up. We're the New York fucking Yankees. This is not how we fucking play. We look like that on the field. Like, I was embarrassed in a couple of those games. Like,
it looked just the whole series in reality, with the exception of game 2, where it was the one that we kind of looked in it and then we blew it.
Going back to the Mets series slop. I like tweeted out, look at Mets being Metsy. And then like the next inning, it was like, you just out Mets the Mets. Like they had some awful error and like throwing the freaking ball around the field and like,
it's not a good situation, and that's for sure. And I think, one of the things that, I don't know, the Yankees are going to have to make some decisions here soon. I know a lot of that's going to be dependent on where Judge is at. And I know there are some people who want to be very patient and say, it's only June, not time to hit the panic button yet. We're not even at the All-Star break. But people don't realize All-Star break is not halfway through the season. Trade deadline is most certainly not halfway through the season. We're coming up on halfway through the season, like in the next couple of weeks. Like a week or so before the All-Star break is halfway through the season. And we are
here before you know it. Yep.
Yeah. And we may still be in the wild card race right now, but we're on the back side of that, falling. And that's not a good position to be in.
No,
when you
we're
have
on the back side of that,
who are playing very well. You have the Mariners who they're not playing great right now, but they could always get back into it. The Astros aren't playing well, and we know how good of a team they are. Like, do we really think
they're
that? I mean, who are
missing-
the three teams that are in it right now? Orioles, I think, right? Orioles are number one for the wild card. And then it's Angels, and then we're tied with the Astros. Do we really think, as of right now, we're better than those three teams? Or that we're going to be better than those three teams? We should be. Or maybe not the Astros. The Astros are just playing not very good for themselves either. But if Judge's return becomes less and less likely, which is going to be very unfortunate, especially with all the people who want to claim that he's injury prone. Again, this is a freak accident that happens, but I really think that, we were talking beforehand, there's not a whole lot of sellers. If Judge doesn't return and we continue to slip, the Yankees need to be sellers. If teams are willing to take DJ LeMahieu and hope that he has some life left and that he can do something, sell him. If the team thinks, like you said, that they can get something out of Stanton, sell him. I don't know what else, and that sucks to say.
I do hope that
I don't want to be a seller team.
Yeah.
But
I do hope that, Judge not coming back is a far off reality. It does seem like he's healing, but you don't know. And what really stinks about that injury is it could be really bad. Now there could come a point where, I don't know, if he's still not 100%, but it's the end of July and it's looking bad that they say, hey, how about you just come back anyway? At 80%, 80% of Judge is, I hope not either. And this is all wild speculation. Of course, we could be completely proved wrong next week. Yeah. And I am holding on to hope a little bit that it seems like these injections seem to be doing what they're supposed to be doing. Now there could still be a number of things that go wrong. And, it's hard not to feel pessimistic right now. But we got to hope that I think people hoping that Judge comes back before the All-Star break is kidding themselves. I think those people are, I do not think that happens. And even if he is kind of healthy enough to come back before the All-Star break, like you said, that's 2 weeks. And, we don't even have a timeline for his return yet. So it's going to be after the All-Star break. Like it just realistically seems like it would be after.
And in that time, the Yankees are going to have to make a decision. Are they going to buy and figure out a way to plug up our holes and make a potential run for the postseason and hope that if we make the postseason, once you make the postseason, season resets. I know that obviously winning a division and being the top two teams of division winners, that matters because you get a bye. But really, it doesn't
otherwise
matter for shit.
And because baseball's baseball,
Phillies last year were in our position now, actually a little bit worse. They fired Joe Girardi much earlier than, not that we're about to fire Aaron Boone, but that would be a terrible decision. I don't think it happens either because they just signed him to a contract last year and they would have to pay him that money. But stupid that they gave him such a long contract when he hasn't proven shit. In my opinion, Cashman needs to. Sorry, I was trying to remember my thought. Cashman job should be on the line too. But I think in general, if the Yankees don't win a World Series within a decade from their last World Series, and we're well past that now, then anybody who's still on that front office line should be gone. There's no reason that the Yankees should be going more than 10 years without a World Series win, or at least be in that conversation. I know we have been in that conversation in the last 15 years a few times. There are a few issues.
But the last 5 years, it seemed like we have clawed and fought our way into the playoffs, except for last year. Last year we decidedly, at least won the AL East because of the early crazy start.
How good we were early in the season. Yeah.
But
our early season success kept us.
Helped. Yeah. Otherwise, the end of last season was awful, and that's the way we went into the playoff, was awful. So So otherwise, we've clawed our way into the wild card spots to
The last few years,
get bounced in the
Throughout
ALC
Aaron
West at
Boone's-
best. Yeah.
And I think one of the things that we had talked about when Boone got re-signed was that in every season that Boone has been at the helm, the Yankees have gotten worse.
Joe handed him a championship caliber team. I mean, it wasn't all Joe putting it together or anything, but Joe,
we could see that Joe wasn't a perfect manager when he went to Philly, but
he's still, there is definitely something to be said that he probably gets them to win in 2017. Cheating aside, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of shit that you can talk about for 2017, or he was part of 2017. I meant 2019. My brain was, sorry.
I was going to say, I thought 2017.
You're right. He was with 2017. Year. 2019, I feel like they would have had a better chance with Joe Girardi than they would have with Boone, even though that was the up and down year of but that was an exciting year. Despite that year seemed like this year, but without nobody is performing. Yeah, that year was next man up. Everybody, everyone's just
that was 2018, but either
was that 2018? Oh, see, this has been such a problem for so long. Obviously, I'm getting them all mixed up.
I mean, every single year, you're right. Every single year, we're having injury problems. I do think 18 was the year of the call-ups, consistent call-ups. Because that was in Boone's first year, and we were trying to give him a lot of benefit of the doubt for the team not being
because
as
of all
good
the
as
injuries.
Last year. And we're like, look how good Boone is doing. He's bringing these guys up, and they're still,
they're still performing. We're still getting wins.
Performing.
But you're right. I think you're right.
Every season, that number we've gotten worse. To the point, like you said, where we're not winning the league or the division anymore. Other than last year. But last year, we looked pathetic in the playoffs. We beat a Guardians team that, this year sucks. I think that the Guardians fared well last year in playing in that division. We can see how shitty that division is this year. They were lucky that the Twins had a lot of injury issues between Carlos Correa. He wasn't out a lot of games, but you can tell that he was not 100% in most of his games. They also had to deal with Gary Sanchez for a whole season, and we all know how that works out for most teams when you have to deal with that. So the Guardians were lucky in last season in making it. So we did win a playoff game. We made it to the championship series and then got embarrassed.
Absolutely embarrassed.
Who did the Astros play in the division before that? I mean, that was more of the ALCS, the true ALCS. Mariners, yeah.
We probably would have been embarrassed by the Mariners too.
Yeah. So the Yankees are in a position where they have really dug themselves into a hole of contracts that don't
haven't panned out. They're just
haven't panned out, and they have a lot of time left on them, or a lot of money left on them, including our manager. I think he should be fired. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Cashman should be fired. I know Hal thinks that if he's fired, he's going to be scooped up and turn the next team into a World Series. If he can do that, why hasn't he done that with the richest roster in baseball?
Now, I do think the Yankees stay the course. Unfortunately, I don't think Cashman or Boone is going anywhere.
I don't think so either. Just think they should be.
I do think that if Cashman is fired, another team picks him up quickly. Now, does that team win the World Series? No. I don't see that, because you're right. Why wouldn't they have won? But you have all this money. You are the New York Yankees, and you can't do it with them, but you're going to do it with the Twins or whatever. I do think somebody picks him up. Some team that's like, well, why don't you get us to be a playoff team? Michael Kay made that point today, and I thought that was okay, you're right. Yes, what we have, other teams want, but we're the New York Yankees, so I don't give a shit. I want to win a World Series. That's what all the fans want. That's the prize the Yankees sell. Championship
We're
or
going
bust.
on near 15 years without a World
no
Series?
excuses.
Years?
Yes, we are the New York Yankees, and we are the best, and all of our all of our goals and all of our mindset in the organization is win and be the best and be the best of class or whatever. They have in every aspect of doing things, they want to be the best, right? Or at least that's the PR move that they show people. But in reality, in the front office, they're okay with making the playoffs because it's a crapshoot. So just get us in and let's hope for the best. And they haven't built, it has not happened. So it's just very frustrating when I just feel they're going to stay the course and nothing will change from Boone up.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I don't think anything changes. I think we are unfortunately going to have to. I think the only way Boone gets fired is if we don't make the playoffs this year, which is not what I'm rooting for.
I mean, I'm not rooting for that either.
But Cashman doesn't leave. I don't know a situation when
Cashman and then again,
leave.
You bounce Cashman, you're going to get somebody who's analytically driven and
right.
It's going to be the same philosophy. We're not getting a different philosophy. So, one other thing, I think you're right about like our possibility of becoming sellers ahead, or at least having that conversation in the weeks ahead. And the reality is, going into next week, we play the Mariners and the Rangers. So
it's not a good upcoming schedule.
This next week this could be
we just played
just another terrible
that
week.
Are well underperforming.
We went 1-5 against the Red Sox. Like, not okay. Yeah. Split a series against the Mets, who are playing pretty awful and didn't have their all-star either. So
they didn't have.
I am nervous,
and I mean, they're not playing good, but you don't see them making the excuse of like, we don't have Pete Alonso. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I mean, they're not playing good, so it's not like they're, doing well without Alonso. But
I do think the Yankees are trying to say like, well, we're not, we don't want to use that excuse. Boone is like, oh, that's going to be the storyline, right? That's going to be the storyline until we hit, right? Like, yes, because what the hell?
Yeah, and that's the stuff that infuriates me.
That's the facts.
Yeah, that's the stuff that infuriates me with Boone. It's like, oh, well, we can hit. This team is going to start banging. When? Well, when is that going to happen? You keep saying that these potential things and what this team has potential of doing, but it doesn't do that. And we're supposed to just be satisfied with the fact that the team has the potential of doing something good when they don't.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit what your computer says that eventually this team can do.
Yeah. Like, I get that you need to protect your players, and I get that they're probably having a much different conversation behind closed doors. We don't know what's being said behind closed doors, and I hope something different is being said behind closed doors, but I don't think any of us want to see the smiling face after the post game anymore. None of us want to see all of us want you to see Boone acknowledge the reality that everybody is underperforming and there's no excuse for it, and somebody needs to step up. That, I don't care that they hit the ball hard. I don't care. I care that we didn't get any results. Yeah. We got swept by the Red Sox, who are in last place in our division, and we're fighting for the last place to stay with the last place in the wild card spot. Not okay. Yeah. It is still June. Now, in a normal year, I would say it is still June. There's potential to go on a 20-5 tear, and there's potential for this, but something needs to change before that happens. Like, the team that was put out on the field this weekend does not go on a 20-5 tear in July.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
It's just no. They need to there needs to be a mentality change. There needs to be, and maybe with, they kept saying a couple of times we're trying to do too much at the plate, and that could be true. Everyone's trying to be judge. I think you said it a couple of times last week that everyone's trying to step up and change their swing. Torres is notorious for this, although he kind of has gotten some results. He's doing better.
Yeah, he's the only consistent one right now. But yeah, everybody tries to hit the 120 mile an hour exit velo hits.
It's like, you can't do that.
That's not, you're not built for that. Like, that's not what we're trying to do. Like,
you can't hit a 3-run home run when no one's on base. Like, like, let's get on base. Our on base percentage is .299. On base percentage. Not batting average.
Yeah.
That's the worst since 1968.
Yeah,
which was bad. A very bad.
And this is not only in one of the big things with the Yankees in their struggle is with having a bad on base percentage. We're also very bad when it comes to leaving men in scoring position.
Oh, yeah.
So even when we do get them there, they're
Yeah.
not getting driven in. So we have a lot
The
of
other
issues
night-
right now.
Yeah, I don't remember
This
what night
team,
it is,
like you
but it's
said-
typical. We were 0 for 15 with runners in scoring position. I don't remember what night it is because you could probably close your eyes and pick a night.
Yeah.
And that would be the
Nights when we're not
case.
hitting in scoring position at this point.
Yeah.
And, the thing that what becomes frustrating is just like we had said on multiple occasions that the team, we go into every season expecting that this could be a team. We're going to change things around, and then we don't perform.
We don't do it.
And I hate to say it, but because I hate the Dallas Cowboys with a passion, but the organization is that's what we're starting to become.
I mean,
and I hate to
it's
say
gross,
that, but that's the
you're
reality.
Not wrong. Yeah. I
That's
feel
the
like
reality
you're
of the
not wrong
situation.
there. It
We're
sucks to say, but
recognized as the best team in the league. We have the most iconic name, the most iconic logo. Fans that are passionate about the team and say that each and every year, this is the year. This is the one where we figure it all out. And for 14
it's
years
the same
now,
old shit.
hasn't happened.
Yep.
So,
yep. It's really frustrating.
Yeah.
But morale is not good right now. So I hope I'm wrong, and for some miracle we split the next 6 games. That would be awesome. So that's what I'll put out in the universe. 500 for the next 6 games, please. And we'll see what happens. I don't know. It's going to be really tough the Mariners, you might be able to squeak out a game. They're not, they're playing pretty meh as well, but the Rangers, buckle up.
Yeah. And do we have to face Luis?
We do. Castillo,
thank you. Yeah.
Yep.
And we all know that,
not to,
because every time that he faces us, he's going to go about 8 innings.
Oh yeah, did you see that the Yankees have the second most opponents pitching 7+ innings against them? So when the Yankees roll into town, your bullpen's getting a rest day, and the only team that's worse is the Oakland A's.
That's a good team
Wonderful.
to be just better than.
Yep. There's so many. You probably can pick a stat in right now, and other than our bullpen, the Yankees will be last in it probably. So.
Yeah, and our bullpen has not been good this week either. But just to move on, because I know we've been talking about the Yankees for a bit, but
we could just go on and on about how upsetting it all is, but the fact of the matter is, it needs to change over the next couple of weeks, we're in trouble. Simple as that.
The around the league stuff, just going up to, sorry, give me 1 second. We talked about the Yankees being buyers or sellers. There's a lot of teams right now that are in that same position. That I think we had talked before the podcast that this year is very unique in the sense that I think you had mentioned it, that a lot of teams are playing well. The schedule is a bit more balanced. You're not playing your own division 19 times. You're going to have to face every team in the league. There's an additional, last year there was an additional playoff spot added too, but this year there's still that additional playoff spot. So more teams make it to the playoffs, and it evens things out in divisions, which we have seen, which I think is a good thing. It makes things a little bit more competitive. But one of the things we're seeing this year is that there's a lot less teams that are sellers. and a lot of teams that are potential buyers. I have the Yankees in potential buyers, but again, that depends on really what happens. The Yankees could become sellers very quick if worse news comes out with Judge and this team continues to underperform. But
yeah,
I mean, I've got only a few teams here that are likely sellers: the Rockies, Cardinals, Nationals, Cubs, Athletics, Royals, White Sox on the lower end, and then maybe two teams possibly are the Tigers and Guardians. But I'm only putting them there as possible because the Twins are not that great. And because of that, the Tigers and Guardians could find themselves
like the division's almost
in a
like
division
open.
hunt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to win a wild card spot.
No,
but,
which is wild. It's just crazy. But yeah.
And the Twins wouldn't either if they were in any other division. But it is so close there that they might, the Tigers, I think, are closer to that sense of selling.
They are doing a little worse than the White Sox. So, yeah.
Yeah. And if the White Sox are being said that they are potential sellers, and the only reason why I didn't put them as a question mark is because that's actually been reported that they are looking to sell.
Yeah.
But that's also not directly from the White Sox. So. It's just from,
like insiders.
Yeah. But I'm sure the Tigers are near that boat too. But I have a bigger question mark when it comes to the Guardians. I don't know if they're going to be sellers or not. They have a young team. They might be a team that just gets a piece and sees if they can,
sees it. Does it work, and can it get us over the hump?
Catch the Twins?
Yeah.
Because they do have a very young team, and I don't see them selling. The only thing that they could be selling is Plesac and Shane Bieber, because I know those two names have been mentioned on the trade.
But the Cleveland 6.5 out of the wild card. So
I think I don't know if you mentioned it just before or if you had mentioned it during the podcast, but I think you had mentioned that there's a lot of teams that are both possibly buyers/sellers, and I think that's where the Guardians kind of fit in. They will sell.
I'd read an article that it was just like there might be a lot of like people who are in the playoffs kind of just trading pieces. Areas of need. Yeah.
And there are a lot of buyers who might, like you said, might be trading pieces. I mean, the Blue Jays are kind of in that similar boat where, Whit Merrifield is doing decently well for them at second base. They might decide to trade Craig Biggio for a piece. They might try to sell Varsho out of left field and get a new left fielder. Send Varsho back to a team that needs a catcher because he did a lot better as a catcher last year than he is as a left fielder this year.
What position does Kevin Kiermaier play? Can we just take him? I don't know.
Plays center field.
Is he center? Well, we'll just scoot him over.
We talked about the Yankees already. The Marlins are definitely a team that is a potential buyer. They're now in the playoff race over there. The Rangers, we know, are probably going to be buyers. They're well within being contenders.
Striking
as their
distance.
Offense. They might be looking to get another pitching arm to bolster their rotation now that DeGrom is done for the year. The Twins are going to be trying to stay winning their division. So they're probably going to try to add to their team. The Orioles are going to try to continue to stay in playoff hunt. They have a lot of prospects too that they could move to make a big arm move, a big piece move. The Angels are going to really do everything they can to make sure that they don't have a half-season flop like they tend to do. I don't really know exactly what they go for, more than likely relief pitching, because I think that's their biggest area that they struggle in. The Mets could be buyers. We don't really know where they're going to fit at. I know they're looking to buy a closer, but you can't imagine the Mets sell. They put so much money into their team, and Cohen is definitely.
I know. It just seems like they're so far out. Like, Yeah, no, I hear you. They
Yeah.
can't imagine they'd be sellers because of how, their
A team that we
insane
expected to
payroll.
be a seller that's not going to be one now, I don't imagine, are the Reds. The Reds have won 8 straight games. I don't know if you know that. Ellie De La Cruz coming up has definitely been a big positive for the Reds.
Gotcha. Yeah,
So
it's been.
I don't see them selling, and that's the main spot that the Mets wanted was Edwin Diaz's brother Alexi
Oh,
Diaz,
sure. Yeah, I
who's
mean,
been an electric closer.
Cincinnati's only 2.5 games out of a wild card spot. So
Yeah, the
I don't
Phillies are probably going to buy too, considering that they're only now a game off. Haven't they won 6 straight games at this point, or 4 straight games? They've gone on a winning streak.
Says 3, but they've won 8 of 10 or 8 of the last 10 for Phillies. The Phillies have won 3 straight. I'm looking at those. Yeah, I'm looking at the standings right now. Is it not?
I'm looking at the
updated.
I don't know. I'm looking at MLB's app.
So am I. Why is it?
What's their record?
Sorry. Well, yeah, these records don't seem right. It says 35 and 34.
Yeah, they're 38 and 34 now.
What's wrong with my... I opened up a new thing. Okay, weird. All right, cool. You clearly have the best. I didn't even notice the record. I was just looking down the...
Yeah.
So any game behind stuff I said was wrong.
At the wrong thing.
Yeah, weird. I know.
Yeah. But yeah, the Phillies were a team that could have been... Well, I don't think the Phillies would have necessarily tried to sell. They're definitely a really good second half team. But yeah, they won 6 straight. Another team that was looking to sell that could have been a seller team that won't be a seller team now are the Giants. They won 7 straight games. They're in the playoff.
They're
race.
in the wild card. Yeah.
They're in the wild card. Yeah, I mean, there's just plenty of teams here that could be buying. I mean, Pittsburgh is kind of in that same boat that Cleveland is in on the NL side, right? Like the Brewers. I mean, they've lost 6 straight games. They are the Pittsburgh Pirates. They're a very streaky team. They go on a lot of long win streaks and then a lot of long losing streaks. But they're only a few games back. They're another team that's closer in their division than they are to the wild card spot.
Yeah, the field is just wide open right now. So, I mean, the next few weeks are definitely going to be important for a lot of teams to figure out, are they buyers or sellers? And Yankees might be one of them. So,
yeah.
But yeah,
so, I mean, it's going to be interesting.
Are going to be interesting. Yeah.
And I think in future podcasts, we'll probably talk a little bit more about specific teams and who and what they might sell, who they might be looking to buy. But, I mean, it's just going to be interesting. And like we said, the Yankees could be in that boat within a couple weeks if things don't turn around. I mean, being, 3 for their last 10 games, 3 and 7.
Yeah.
In their last 10 games is not good. Not in the right direction at all, especially when Toronto's been hot and cold a lot this year too. But again, I mean, it doesn't even matter about Toronto. There are 3 teams that if the playoffs ended or the season ended today, I think Houston would get in by a tiebreaker over us. So there are already 3 teams. Or how would that work?
Only if they're a half game out of the wild card.
The Yankees
Toronto?
are?
No,
I'm saying
Toronto's
the
a
Yankees
half game
and
out.
Houston are tied in the last spot.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
So the Yankees would be out based on tiebreaker.
I see. Yes, there's only 3 spots. I'm sorry. I wasn't even... Yeah, there's 3 spots. They're a tiebreaker. Yeah, yes.
So
it's not good. They need to do a lot better to get into the playoff hunt right now, and they're doing very piss poor for a team that gets paid so goddamn much.
Yeah. But anyway, that's really what's going on around the league. I think I mentioned already the Cincinnati Reds had gone on an 8-game winning streak. Ellie De La Cruz has been on fire for them. I think he beat out another
infield hit
to the
single
that went to the first baseman. He's done that twice
Yeah.
Like, that's
He's insane.
ridiculously fast.
He is
Dodgers
insane.
have been slipping too. We talked about last week with the power ranking stuff that they were slipping. Still from the Yankee after the Yankee series, they've still been slipping. They are only a game held into the wild card spot right now, so that's not good for them. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a very interesting playoffs this year. There's going to be a lot of new teams that are going to be trying to get in. I think Marlins are a very fun, exciting team. We talked about them. I feel like there was something very specific, like a walk-off or something that was good to watch, but I'm forgetting it now. But yeah, I mean, I'm really liking watching what Ellie De La Cruz is doing. It's fun to watch some exciting baseball because we can't watch that with our team right now. But
baseball, I'll just say one last thing. Baseball is very funny, because the Cincinnati Reds are very exciting to watch. They're a fun team to watch. They have energy. They look like they're playing well as a team. Multiple people are hitting the ball, and they're winning games. Like you said, they've won 8 games in a row. The Yankees are still better, like record-wise, numbers-wise. Don't look at what you see on the screen, on the TV. They're better than the Reds, So like, baseball's just funny, Momentum means everything. What's going on right now means everything, and our attitude 3 weeks ago was much better, And we going into the series out west. Vibes were pretty high. I thought, okay, we're finally, Bader's back, Judge is back. We've got, we're cohesion here. We're looking like the Yankees again. We could actually be a playoff, good playoff team this year.
And then the injury
pitching's making their way back. We'll be okay. And then so baseball is just you can very easily, the wind can easily change for any team. And so I'll hold on to a little bit of hope that maybe the wind can change for the Yankees. Because I'll just keep watching, and for my sanity.
We've gone through a bad stretch last time Judge was out. We came back from that and started looking really good. So like you said, there is potential that those things can, quickly sway back. But
lot needs to change. Keep running it out. Yeah. All right. Before we dive back into that.
Yeah.
All right.
So I sent you. I know Cliff has a little thing. So before we get into it, but I got a Yankee for you.
Who's that Yankee?
Okay. So I have a Yankee that I have a player that played for the Yankees from 95 to 99. 99 was his last year, and he didn't play too many games. Looks like he played he played 101 games for the Yankees in 1998. Otherwise, didn't play a full season, the other ones. His first season was in 1983 with the Mets, run rookie of the year. Okay. So, big part of the 1998 season. Can't speak. Sorry.
Yeah, 98 or 88, he was second in MVP.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. And was an all-star several times, almost all with the Mets in the beginning of the year of his career. Went to the Dodgers 1 year with the Giants in San Francisco, and then to the Yankees.
I don't know if it helps, but you can look at, I gave you the positions on there next to the awards he won.
Rude. What do the positions mean? What does D7 mean?
D means DH.
Oh, okay.
H, I think, means he was a pinch hitter. 9 means right fielder. 7 means left fielder.
Oh, okay. 7. Okay. I guess I was like D7. Bingo. No.
I think when I was looking at reference, because I was trying to understand it, because I used to see DH together, like D and H together, and I thought it meant DH, and then I was like, why are DH separate on there? But it's because D means pinch hitter, or H means pinch hitter. Like that's all he did in that game was he was a pinch hitter. He didn't like go in and then become a fielder. Like in a game, at least once he only pinched hit.
I see. All right,
so
I'm trying to think.
Basically, he was mostly a right fielder, left fielder, and DH.
Yes. Okay. I feel like I should know that. I'm trying to think from. I was 10 years old in 1998. Just put that out there.
I can give you a few hints.
Yeah, give me a hint.
He won, I think, 4 World Series total.
Yeah, I mean, he was on the Yankees from 96, 90. Well, he won 96, 98, and 99. He won another time.
I think with the Mets.
In the 80s. Oh, my computer is frozen. It doesn't matter. I have a big circle in front of your thing. I can still see it, but I don't know what's wrong with my
he's
computer.
a 3-time World Series champion.
Is this Darryl Strawberry?
It is Darryl Strawberry.
Oh, okay. I was like, who could have done it? It was like the Mets. I was getting sweaty. I was like, God damn it, I should know this one. Embarrass myself.
The straw man himself.
Yes,
good job.
I was like a number of All-Stars he went All-Star games he went to, the amount of time he was with us during those years. I'm like trying to rack my brain. Who is in the outfield?
Yeah, I wanted to get somebody who was within that 98. Kind of like I did for Joe G the last time, but this time I wanted to give somebody who was a little bit more big star,
one of those,
like within the league. Maybe not necessarily all with us, but like
some a big name. I guess I was starting like someone smaller, I guess, like we've been doing, and that's where my head went first, like trying to remember. And then you said like pinch hitter, and I was like, it's not him, but my head was like Luis Soho, and I'm like, that's obviously not him based on the teams, but anyway. It was like, one with the Mets. Hang on, think about the Mets. That was nobody wants to think about.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get your hints towards was that he was with the Mets. I think that's like the biggest thing with Strawberry is that he was with the Mets for so long and iconic player for them.
Yeah,
and
I mean, he was really he was definitely iconic player for them. He was iconic player with the Yankees too, especially like 98. He was integral in that like infamous brawl with Orioles. Yeah,
definitely a big veteran presence by the time he was with the Yankees.
Absolutely. Good pick.
So
had me there for a minute.
Well, hopefully one of these times coming up soon, the next podcast will be a little bit happier. I can almost guarantee we'll be doing another Power Rankings podcast later this week, and I can pretty much guarantee the Yankees will not be in the top 10 with that.
Right. I was thinking about it today as we were going on, and I forgot that we've split it, that you'll do the Power Rankings later. And I was like, well, they're definitely not in it today, but they were in MLB's Power Rankings today.
Top 10?
Yeah. Ranked 8, I think.
See, this is the reason with ESPN.
In what world?
Above who?
Probably still above the Red Sox.
Honestly, I don't remember, but I know that Houston and the Dodgers were there too. It was like we were all right in a row. And it was like Really?
Yeah, I think the ESPN tends to way too much hold on to history or like expectations as part of their ranking. Maybe not history,
And,
but the expectations. Like the Orioles,
sure.
it took them
Instead
for
of like
so
what's
long to put
happening.
them. Yeah, it took them so long to put the Orioles up in the top 5 because the
Crazy.
expectations that the Orioles suck. And so eventually the Orioles should fall back down. Now, not everything should be based off of record. I think if you're doing power rankings based solely off of record, that is not a good way to do rankings because teams aren't always playing based on how their record shows. I mean, I put the worst team in the league above 3 teams last week.
Sure.
But that's because at that time,
like we're just saying, momentum is important. Yeah.
Like I think the Reds right now are a better team than the Yankees and should be ahead of them in the power rankings.
Yeah, like if the Reds played the Yankees today instead of 4 weeks ago, probably a different outcome. Yeah.
Right. And that's just as a very, I mean, the Red Sox just swept the Yankees. There's no reason they should be below the Yankees just because of what the expectations are with the two teams.
Yeah.
I don't care what the records are either. They just got swept by the Red Sox. The Red Sox obviously proved Nestor Cortez completely wrong that they're an irrelevant team now.
Right. I mean, I don't know if the Red Sox are a top 10 power rankings team, but the Yankees certainly are not after being swept by a last place team. Yeah.
Yeah. Red Sox are not top 10. They're worse than the Yankees.
No. Then neither of them deserve to be in the top 10. Yeah. And it's just MLB is dumb.
Yeah. ESPN does not do good rankings.
One happy thing.
Oh, do tell.
The Yankees. No, not happy. The Gators. The Gators are winning.
Oh yeah.
The Gators won their first 2 games out in Omaha, so they have one more game before they are in the championship. They have to win one more game. Don't want to anger any baseball gods. They still have to win one more game before they make it to the championship game, but they are very close to making it there. So they will play the winner of Oral Roberts and TCU. They play tomorrow, and so they're in the losers bracket. So the Gators will play the winner of that one of those 2 teams who would have to beat them twice in order for them not to advance to the championship game. So that's very exciting.
Has a player named Blaze Brothers.
Yeah. It's like, what a name, cool, man. Yeah, he actually hit a go-ahead home run against TCU for the first game. That was a really exciting game. They came back and then
called it a game, a walk-off home run.
Yes, a walk-off by Oral Roberts. They've done it. Oh, I mean TCU. Oh, right. It's the top of the 9th. Oh, oh my God. That was the same guy that does Sunday Night Baseball, wasn't it?
I think so.
Carl Ravitch or whatever. Like, yeah, I was like, that's bad, ESPN. Guy. That's bad. Yeah.
Megan had lots to say about the national broadcast announcers.
It's like, could you not get somebody who understands the teams that are playing right now?
I get Oral Roberts. Baseball.
No, they do not. It's absolutely infuriating. But all the games have been very exciting. If you haven't caught a game, you should watch the games. They've been all very fun to watch. Lots of comebacks. The Gators had a comeback in their first game against Virginia. Thought they were just going to lose the first one, but hit a bunch of home runs to win one of the longest home runs, or the longest home run hit in College World Series history at that ballpark. So yeah. Fun. Yeah, that's fun. That was a much better game to watch than they played on both days. They played Friday, the Gators did, and on Sunday. So at least I had those games to distract me from the pathetic slop that was the Yankees put out on the field. So there's your little happy thing to end the podcast. At least for me, that's happy.
Yay.
All right. I think you've already said who we play next. So yeah. We'll have a podcast in the middle of the Seattle series.
Right, for rankings.
Where we're talking about power rankings more specifically. So be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for some reaction videos upcoming. Not sure exactly when those will be coming out, but just be on the lookout. So hit the likes, hit the subscribe buttons on your YouTube, Spotify, whatever you listen on. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Damn Yanks _pod for all of our updates and all the we post when we have new pods come out there as well. So follow us there on Facebook at Damn Yanks Pod. So yeah, do all the things. Hit the like button. We're appreciative of all of our followers, all the people who listen. I know, again, our mom always listens every week, so we at least have one listener.
Yes.
I know Erin listens too. Our sister, maybe we'll have her come on as a guest speaker one time just to also bitch
she can
about
unload
the
on her
Yankees.
thoughts. Yeah.
But anyway, all of our people who listen to us, we thank you. If you're first time listening to us, we thank you as well.
Yep.
So
Yeah, we'll talk
until
about
next
it next
time.
time. Yeah.
See ya.
See ya.